Hey, Stephanie Presley here to show you 20 minutes or less with enchiladas. Hello, my name is Stephanie Presley and I am a consultant with EPICLIFEN. Good food real fast and meals in 20 minutes or less. So, the person who invited you to watch this video wants you to see how amazing EPICLIFEN can be and how it can fit into your world. And my job is to be able to show you that you can do meals in 20 minutes or less. And this doesn't matter if you love to cook, hate to cook, want to cook, don't want to cook, any of those things, or if you've even seen the recipe before. And so what I'm doing today is using a recipe that I plan to use at a live cooking class tomorrow with a wonderful group of people. And we're going to change it up a little at that group. But I wanted to show you just the basic recipe, and I want to show you the flexibility that exists within EPICLIFEN. I have not made this recipe before, so sort of winging it. But you can still wing it fast and healthy for your family to get where you need to go, do the things that you want to do, and not end up slaving away in the kitchen. So all the important information about EPICLIFEN and all of that stuff is in another video. For this one, I just want to show you that you can do good food real fast in 20 minutes or less. Okay, so I am going to put my apron on and grab a towel. You'll see that I put it on my shoulder. I tend to live like that. I always need a towel and then I can't figure out where I've set it. So it's easier to just keep it on me. And I'm going to put on my apron because, you know, when you are on the go, the real thing is chances are you have on a shirt. It's really nice. You're on your way to somebody's concert or coffee with a friend or some such thing. And then you spill something on yourself and you're, oh my gosh, I got to change. And then you're sweaty and it's just a frustrating situation. I'm sure that's never happened to you. Okay, so what are we making? We are making everyday chicken enchiladas, except I don't have chicken. So, well, I do have some chicken, but it's actually set aside for something else. So that's what can happen with EPICLIFEN is you can change it up. There is no such thing as the EPICLIFEN police. They're not going to come hunt you down and say, you didn't use chicken. So use whatever you want. If you want to switch out your protein, if you want to switch out your milk, you have the option to do that. It's your kitchen. Okay, so this is our enchilada seasoning. And it is, we're going to make enchiladas. This recipe is bean enchiladas. I'm making the chicken enchiladas. I've made sure that I have everything that's on the list, I think. Almost. I have almost everything that's on this list. And beyond that, we're just going to go for it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my timer. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is, what I want to do is set my timer so that I can show you that it's going to happen in 20 minutes or less. So I'm going to time myself. All right. So here's my stopwatch at 0. And here we go. All right, the first thing we're going to do is dessert. And this is something I like to do so everybody has some dessert to eat. This is our 4-cup bowl. It is frozen right now. And, well, not frozen, but I put it in the freezer probably 5-10 minutes before I started this. And I did that because it sets faster if you do it that way. Now, I was going to do something. I'm actually not going to use the milk that I just took out. I'm going to use a different milk. Okay. We have several children, and I'm going to put in 2 cups of milk. You can use whatever milk you want. I am going to use some flax milk, and the rest I'm going to do cow's milk because we don't have anybody that's going to be eating this who can't have it right now. So I can go ahead and use this. Whereas we can't use almond milk because we have somebody who's allergic to peanuts and tree nuts in our household. But the beauty, you can use coconut milk. You can use oat milk. You can use, what do you call it? I have a friend who uses macadamia nut milk for hers. And So I'm just going to go ahead and get this going. I did forget one thing that I meant to do. I should have done that. I should have gotten that started. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm not making chicken enchiladas, and the recipe calls for doing the chicken enchiladas on the stove, like to make the chicken and cook it on the stove. I don't have time to do that right now. So, because we're doing our 20-minute or less thing. So I just put some ground beef in here. I'm going to crumble it up, and I'm going to put it in the microwave. But I'm washing my hands first. Okay. And I believe that my recipe also called for a pepper to be diced up. I cheat and I do organic frozen vegetables. They're not diced, but I can chop these when they come out. So this is going in our silicone steamer, which is safe oven, microwave, and stove. Or, yeah, that's not, it's not safe on the stove. I just lied to you. I washed my scissors, but it is safe in the freezer. So, all right, now I'm going to keep whisking my pudding, which needs to whisk for 2 minutes. So while I do that, is it cooking? Oh. It's so quiet, I can't hear it. Okay, so this is the pudding, and I'm basically just stirring this. So what we're gonna make is the enchilada seasoning, the enchiladas, some guacamole and salsa to go on top, and the pudding as a dessert. The pudding is really neat because you can do it several different ways. You can, and the back of the recipe has that. Let's see, there's the regular chocolate pudding recipe. There is Mexican pudding, and there's a mocha pudding. You can also replace 1 cup of the milk with whipping cream or coconut cream, and just pour off the liquid from that can of coconut cream and use that. And you have, whip it, and then you can put in a pie shell or tarts or whatever, and you have a nice little mousse type thing. You can put it in a pie shell and you can freeze it or refrigerate it, and then you have a nice little chocolate pie. Isn't that cool? So lots of ways of doing this. I have like another 50 seconds on that. And if you don't do it the full 2 minutes, this is why it's significant. If you don't do it the full 2 minutes, it will set up. Then when you go in the next day to get some, it will be all liquidy. So you have to do the full 2 minutes. This is probably what feels like the most time-consuming part of the Epicure cooking, is doing pudding for 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Oh my gosh. The whisk that I'm using is our mini whisk. It's super wonderful. It's like really tiny. See, like a baby whisk. It's not even as tall as my head. But you can use it for things like this. And this 4-cup bowl is great for like the pudding, for making lemon curd. We're gonna do our guacamole in one, for doing the salsa, for serving, taking salads to work, all of those wonderful things. Okay, our 2 minutes is done. And I just rinsed the pudding right off right away because I always need my whisk. I have 2 of them and I always need them. Okay, so now I have that set in there, and let's get to making our enchilada. I'm going to be popping on with the glasses back and forth. So in a 4-cup prep bowl, I'm going to whisk the seasoning with water and 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. And then I'm going to microwave it on high, for 2 minutes until it's thickened. Okay, so here we go with my seasoning. I'm going to, so a little more about me while I'm doing this. We have 5 children. The oldest 4 are boys, and the youngest is a little girl. All right, 1.5. This is our prep cup, and it also has measurements on the side. So that's what I'm using for that. We switched to distilled water, and so I use water out of the tubs, but I've distilled it. I just have like a dry throat all of a sudden. As on the day that I'm making this, it's a really hot day. And let me see what else. Oh, I gotta add the tomato paste. Like, this is not thick enough. So I'm just gonna use our tablespoon measurement, and I'll scrape it out here with the whisk. And there's number 2. And I'm going a little bit bigger each time because I'm not getting it completely full. And number 3. All right, so I'll show you a little more about this spoon in a minute, but I need to get that off my hands. All right, so that beef, you probably are thinking, hey, wait a minute. She just put meat in the microwave and it's gonna get really dry and icky. That's what you think. Okay, it's not gonna happen like that. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the microwave and I'm gonna cover it on high for 2 minutes or until it's thickened. So I'm gonna trade this for the beef. Okay, so this is our round steamer. You can do a whole rotisserie chicken in here. And so here's our beef, and you see all the liquid. Maybe you can see all the liquid that's in there with it. And the reason I didn't dice the peppers is now that they're cooked, I can mash it. This is our ground meat separator. And so this recipe for the one for the chickens is to put it in our wok, and you could totally do that and then dice the peppers up and put them in there and saute those while you're waiting for your sauce to cook. Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna cook this and then do that. And then I'm gonna add, okay, so when that's done, I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of the sauce that I'm making right now into here. And then I'm just gonna divide it into tortillas. So, easy peasy. There's a whole lot of ways of doing Mexican, different ways. So in our current catalog, we have what's called, I think it's called a taco night kit. And it comes with our fajita seasoning, which is sodium free. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pour the liquid off. You know what? I want you guys to see how much liquid actually can be created with these things. So look at that. That's a lot of liquid for the beef. Okay. And okay, so I'm trying to make some space for myself so I can do our I can do a little more of the prep work. And I grab my whisk. Okay, I think it can use about 30 seconds more. So in the meantime, let's make our guacamole. So this is, I have frozen avocados because I am the worst at selecting avocados. It's about 3 avocados worth. And so I'm gonna put 3 tablespoons of our guacamole seasoning in here. This comes in our taco night kit. So I'm just going to put these 3 in there. And that's what the jar looks like. It comes in that kit, and I needed that, this lime, and I'm going to use our Prep Pro knife, which I'll tell you about that in half a second. And it just says a splash of lime. So there's a splash of lime. And then I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to mash it. And once this is all mashed, all I have to do is cover it, set it aside, and I have delicious guacamole. Like, that's all that you need. If you would like to add more things to it, if you want to add cilantro or red onions or tomatoes and all the things, you can. Little tip, guacamole seasoning is amazing on eggs. It's also good sprinkled on some shrimp and then sauteed and put in a salad. Super yummy. And let's see. All right, there's that. Guacamole, done. So I'm gonna put the lid on here and grab our enchilada seasoning. All right. I don't like grabbing things when they're super hot. All right, so you know what? Oh, I got the seasoning mix in there. Let's see. It says or until it's thickened, and I don't know. I guess it's considered thick. I'm not really great on the... Yeah, that's thick as sauce goes. Okay, and then it says to do the juice of a lime. So I'm going to use the rest of this lime. And you can do this lemons or limes in this press. And you just put it upside down in here and squeeze. So that's done. Lemons or limes, and you don't get the seeds. You get so much juice, and you don't have to break your wrist doing it. All right. So then, once you have your meat done, which now we have done, we take a half a cup of the sauce, which I'm going to just use this and scoop up half a cup. There we go. Putting that in there. All right, and I'm going to stir this together with our saute spoon. And let's see. Half a cup of sauce, stir to combine. Divide the mixture and half a cup of cheese between the tortillas. And then roll them and set them in a single layer in the multi-purpose steamer. Okay, so I am going to get, let's see, it says a half a cup of cheese. So this is a half a cup of cheese. Okay. Oh, am I doing a half a cup of it? Okay, so I'm going to need 4 wraps, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to need, this is our, we have these prep cups that will hold everything. You know what I think? How much is it? I'm just supposed to divide it evenly. Okay. So this is our multi-purpose steamer. And this is the lid. It comes like this. A lot of things you can do with it. You can do, golly, you can do everything with it. You can make popcorn, you can make rice, you can make all sorts of things. But right now, we're going to make enchiladas. So I'm just going to take the seasoning. Can you see that? Yep. I'm going to take the seasoning and I'm going to do about, this is about 1 measuring cup, this portion thing here. So I'm going to do about 1 cup of this. I guess you can't really see that. I'm going to put that there and I'm going to sprinkle it with some cheese. I'm going to roll that up. And I'm just going to set it here in the steamer. And I'm just going to do it 3 more times. So there's another one. Super easy. And this is something you could be doing, and supervising the kids while they do it, because they get to do the assembly, they get to do all the things. right? I'm a very messy cook. Can you tell? See why I did that apron thing? I put way too much in that last one. One of these is going to be really small. But that's okay. All right. Well, I have enough that spilled onto this thing that I can just put that in there too. So this one, I'm going to put the cheese on there. I'm going to gather what is left. And I'll gather what's left out of my bowl. I'm trying to get the juice out. And put that there. All right. And grab a little bit more cheese. Roll this one up. So now we have our meat, our veggies, our cheese, our seasonings, our sauce. This is so much easier than doing the canned sauce, right? Okay, so there we are, all set up. And then, let's see, divided it all up between the tortillas. Roll up and arrange seam side down. Top with the remaining sauce. So, here we go, topping with the remaining sauce. And I think I did something wrong on the water. Maybe I didn't. Still eats. Let's see. Top with remaining sauce and a half a cup of cheese. Cover and microwave 6 to 8 minutes or until the cheese has melted. So, half a cup of cheese is about that if I press it down. So I'm just going to sprinkle this all in here. Cover it and microwave 6 to 8 minutes. Every microwave is a little different, so you'll have to dink with it. Okay, so there's my 5 minutes of in there. This foldable, dishwasher safe, so I'm just gonna set that over to the side and wipe up my little mess right here. And there's only one more thing we have left to do, and that is cut our tomatoes for our poco salsa. So now I will tell you a little more about this knife. It is a ceramic knife, doesn't need to be sharpened. It's not designed for root vegetables, for like hard squashes and things like that, but you can do it for chicken and just cutting whatever. Like, see, it just slices straight through this tomato. This cutting board is our non-slip cutting board. It was pulled out of the catalog, but it's back as a host exclusive for June of 2022. I don't know how long this video will last out in the world of the internet, or as my girlfriend calls it, the interwebs. So I do, you know what? I love the way this thing cuts, but I want to show you something specifically on this cutting board. So I'm going to switch over for a reason. All right, so what we're going to use with this is our Poco Picante seasoning, which also comes in that kit. So the fajita seasoning, the guacamole seasoning, Poco Picante seasoning, all of them in the kit are sodium free. And it's just amazing that that's the case. Okay, I am going to bring this over here. And this is our Poco Picante. And using the same mix, this is not a lot of tomato. This is just a very little bit. And it's really spicy. So some people have half a teaspoon of it, and it's got way too much kick, and they're like, what are you trying to do? We like spicy around here. Children will laugh when I say that because they like things spicier than me. I'm just gonna do a teaspoon in this particular container. If you want more, make more. The recipe's on the back, and then you just gauge it for what you want to do. You can put it on eggs and side dishes. You can mix it into chilies. You can spice things up with it. And again, you can spice this up however you want. You can add more onions. You can add cilantro. But it's a really good base that you don't have to do. And that's the beauty is Epicure creates all of the blends in a healthy way that's sodium sugar conscious, gluten-free, so you don't have to go dink with it and do it all yourself. I'm going to cut that other one up later. And now we have our salsa done. These little cups come in a set of 4, and they have these silicone lids that also come with them. And that's really it. That's my entire meal. The enchiladas have about 2 more minutes before they're done. And in that 2 minutes, I can get everything in the dishwasher, rinse things off, wash things out, and call it done, and then get on the road. So 20 minutes is from when I started the timer, and I was talking throughout. So as you can see, Epicure can make it so you can make a meal in 20 minutes or less, and it's going to be a decent quality meal. I'm going to try to add on the end of this video everything when it's completely done. But it has been 10 minutes since I made this pudding, and I want you to see that it has already set. So we have our pudding, we have our meal, we have some lettuce shredded already over there, ready to go. What happened? Power just went out. Okay, so my microwave just died. I don't know why. Power went out, but only in parts of the house. But I made my meal in 20 minutes or less, so at least that's done. We've been having a lot of storms around here lately, so I'll have to go check that out. Thank you so much for joining me to see how Epicure works fast. At the class where I'm cooking tomorrow, we are not going to make enchiladas this way because we have a lot of people and we need to sample the food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the sauce with the enchilada seasoning, and then I'm going to put the rest seasoning in some ground meat. We're going to make it into little balls, put it in the steamer, microwave that for about 5 minutes, and we're going to have enchilada meatballs. But we can do the same. You can put those on a salad, take it to work. You can use the burger sliders or burger press, and you can make burger sliders, enchilada sliders. Lots of ways of doing the seasoning, using the seasoning for what you want to do. Thank you so much. Have a wonderfully blessed day. It's good talking to you. Bye-bye. Okay, so here's everything. Here are our beef enchiladas, the poco picante salsa, our guacamole, and our pudding. So we have a yummy dinner ready to go. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. All of the info on how to order, finding my links, finding my cooking community are all in the description. Talk to you soon.